Welcome back. St. Lucia's heritage is deeply rooted in the battles fought over Fair Helen. As such, the St. Lucia National Trust embarked on a grave cleaning initiative at the British Military Cemetery located at Mount Fortune. Solange Alfred reports.
A little bit of elbow grease and a lot of respect is what returned some spark to the graves of British soldiers at the Old British Military Cemetery located on the Mon. Retired Lieutenant Colonel of the British Army, Alistair Fife, led the training of National Trust members and staff in the cleanup effort of the tombstones. Conservation Manager from the St. Lucia National Trust, Shalene Simmons James, stated that this maintenance project looked to cultivate a sense of respect for the rich culture and heritage of St. Lucia, while also instilling a sense of pride of country in the parties who participated.
You want to acknowledge the service of persons who fought in the British Army for St. Lucia. As well, Mr. Fife is a retired Lieutenant Colonel of the British Army. And so I guess he has an akin to his fallen brethren. He wouldn't have known any of them. But at the end of the day, you pay respect to the dead, and that's one way to respect their service, is to ensure that if somebody comes down here to visit, we know exactly who was buried there. We also have soldiers, we have family members, we have children of soldiers, and also the wives of some fallen soldiers who have passed. And so just to maintain the gravesite, it's just out of respect.
The retired Lieutenant Colonel of the British Army, Alistair Fife, who conducted the grave cleanup, expressed that the untidy appearance of the cemetery was what inspired him to take on this project.
I was brought here by a friend, and I was really disappointed the way the cemetery looked. It was unkept. Most of the graves, you couldn't read anybody's details. So it was just an anonymous cemetery, but I was told it was the British cemetery. And there were one or two that you could make that out. So I wrote to the National Trust, and I offered to come and clean only 4 gravestones myself. Just me, and all of a sudden the National Trust sort of picked it up and thought this was a good idea. And they produced manpower and support, and we've cleaned just about every gravestone or memorial that is in the cemetery. And we've also done some work up on the Morn at the 27th Inniskillen Fusiliers Memorial, and we've cleaned that up today. A little bit more work is required, and probably at some stage all the paint needs to come off and it needs to be repainted and so on. But looking towards your 40th anniversary, I think it's nice that we do all of this. It's a good time to be doing it.
Fife went on to explain the process to clean the tombstones was not one that required many chemicals or complication. Rather, a combination of cleaning solutions coupled with scrubbing and washing got the tombstones looking good as new. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
Thank you, Solange. Last summer, the St. Lucia School of Music established a new program entitled the System of Youth Orchestras and Choirs. After months of working with teachers and mentors at the School of Music, the students held 2 live holiday season performances to showcase the remarkable progress they have made. Last June, the St. Lucia School of Music embarked on a new program made possible through the support of the US-based Windsong Foundation. The System of Youth Orchestras and Choirs selected 58 at-risk youth. The basic idea was to expose these children to the world of music and provide an avenue for positive change. 2 months of a rigorous schedule of study, practice, and rehearsals have displayed an unwavering commitment to the program by the students.
We're really celebrating a very important milestone. There have been where 58 kids have from the northern districts, districts 1 to 4, have been permitted to participate in this rigorous orchestra training program at the School of Music. And after 5 months of training, the progress has really been remarkable.
Under the tutelage of their teachers and young mentors, the students have made remarkable progress.
I am elated with the progress that I have seen. I will speak a little about the voice tutor, Andrea, and she has definitely taken those young people in the choir from one level to the next. Now, these are young people who never thought that they would be able to read music, much less to see their voices as an instrument.
Because of the hard work and achievements of the students, they decided to use the holiday season to showcase the program and the remarkable progress that has been made.
In the spirit of the Christmas season or the holiday season, we were very much engaged in the first series of public performances by those students to showcase what has been done and what has been achieved in the era where there's so much negative news and everything is negative. We really want to be able to showcase the positive efforts by those young students. We want to continue to advocate for the idea of using music as a transformative tool. It is a solution to some of the problems that we face in our communities, and we would like to see this spread across the island.
The students were excited to share the fruits of their hard work with their parents, supporters, friends, and well-wishers. Based on these tangible results achieved to date, it is hoped that more public and private support will be forthcoming to ensure the program continues well into the future. Senior officials from the OECS member states have called upon the World Trade Organization to assist small island developing states build economic resilience in the face of climate change-related hazards, including Category 5 and more hurricanes and rising sea levels. Nisha Charles reports.
In a statement to the World Trade Organization's General Council, the highest decision-making body of the World Trade Organization, the OECS has highlighted the unique challenges faced by small island states impacted by climate change events and noted the negative impacts of such events on trade and development. In response to the escalating climate change-related risks, the OECS statement charged the world body responsible for setting and regulating international trade rules to find creative approaches that respond to climate change-related vulnerabilities. The OECS statement was delivered by High Commissioner His Excellency Guy Mayers, who also serves as St. Lucia's ambassador to the World Trade Organization. OECS member states pressed the WTO to provide small island developing states with flexibilities in line with their vulnerability to environmental and climate change-induced risks. The statement further urged the establishment of a matrix, such as a vulnerability index, that can be used to establish a baseline for greater flexibilities needed to respond to environmental hazards. This call to the World Trade Body was made in response to the severe economic impact caused to OECS member states by the 2017 hurricane season. The ambassador noted that beyond the catastrophic impacts that more intense storms have on physical infrastructure of OECS member states, these storms have devastating effects on the private sector. Speaking after his presentation to the World Trade Organization, His Excellency Mayers noted that the rules of the WTO have already failed OECS member states on the issue of bananas and must now provide the necessary accommodations to small states that are at risk. The ambassador challenged the WTO to take concrete steps to address what is quickly becoming a survival issue for small island developing states. The St. Lucia envoy promised that the WTO should create strong safeguards that can be triggered after a natural disaster that would provide sufficient policy space for recovery. The WTO General Council met in Geneva on the 12th of December to discuss the challenges facing the international trading systems. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
You're watching the Hot 7 Nightly News. We have sports news with Tennyson Glasgow up next.